Good morning from Costa Rica. I'm here to try to recover thousands of dollars that are frozen in a bank account. But first, breakfast. So I'm here at Taco Bar Santa Ana. This is a place that I used to come a lot when I lived here. I haven't been here probably more than 10 years, but it's just as good as I remember. The food is really fresh, and I think it started in Jaco. That was the first time I went there over on the beach. I actually used to live here in Santa Ana. I studied abroad here in 2002 for 3 months, but I have a lot of fond memories of this place, and it's kind of surreal to be back here under these circumstances of, trying to recover money that's been frozen, but here we are. So we're gonna make the most of it. My plan for today is to go down the street to Lindora and try to open a bank account in my name with my passport. So I think I have all the requirements. I'm gonna go to Banco Lafice first, and if that doesn't work, I'll go to Banco Nacional. If that doesn't work, I could open a corporate account because I have a company in Costa Rica. If that doesn't work, I could use an escrow account. And if that doesn't work, I could have a friend receive the money for me. Yeah, I have a lot of backup plans. That's really important. When you're operating in a foreign country or you're moving to a new country, you have a plan A, you have a plan B, you have a plan C, you have a plan D. And the reason I'm doing this is because the financial entity, they require that I present local bank information in colones and dollars to be able to receive the funds. The 6 million guaranteed funds in colones, which is about $12,000, and then the rest in dollars. So I have no idea what will happen today. We'll just have to find out. But if you're just tuning in and you aren't sure for the whole story of what happened here, I will leave the link below to the first video where I explain more in detail. But either way, you're here now, so let's see what happens. I can't film in here, so we'll go in and see what happened. Okay, so I have good news and bad news. The good news is that I was able to solicit the account as a foreigner with a US passport. I had to give my social security number, address here, local phone number, so I have a local SIM card. Also what I do for work, how much money I'm expecting to send through the account each month. Yeah, so now I have to wait 1 or 2 days to see if they approve the account or if they ask for any other documents. So that brings us to Thursday, and I have to have this whole thing finished by Friday. So it's a very tight timeline. So what I'm gonna do is go to another bank, to Banco Nacional, and see if I can open an account now. I just want to get the account number today and not have to wait until Thursday. I decided to just walk across the street. Fortunately, in Costa Rica, there's always a lot of banks that are located close together. Well, that didn't go very well. I waited for 3 hours because I didn't have an appointment. And then I found that they are asking me for additional documents that they didn't tell me over the phone or that weren't on the website. I'm going to go home and get my phone charger because my phone battery is almost dead, eat some lunch, and then go to another bank. Never give up. I'm at a super cute cafe called Blackbird Cafe, and I'm gonna eat some lunch and then I'll be ready to go back to another bank. But it's really surreal to walk down the same street I used to take to get to my Spanish school back in 2002. In general, I'm not even really frustrated yet because I expected that things wouldn't go exactly to plan. So I haven't given up hope just yet. It's just gonna be a really long day. I remember that I used to have an account at BCR a long time ago, and I don't know if it's still there. So I'm gonna go in and find out. So it turns out that I do still have an account at Banco de Costa Rica, and they were able to reactivate it for me with my new passport. I have to go back tomorrow to get a debit card and access to online banking. The account is in dollars, but he said I could also open a colones account. I'm trying to decide what to do between using a personal account or using an escrow account, and I'll explain why momentarily. But first, when I left the bank, I realized I'm really close to my old host family's house where I lived in 2002. So I'm gonna walk by and see if they're there. I don't know if they still live there or if they've moved. While walking to the house, something very unexpected happened.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Sí.
Gata!
Oh my goodness!
Give me a hug.
No.
Un abrazo.
Ya, venga. Hola.
Say, hola, gata.
Hola. Ay, gata muy, no, toda sucia.
¿Cuándo nos conocimos?
En el 2002.
I thought I was in the right spot. So I decided to ask these women that were sitting outside if they knew my host mom. And it was the manager from the language school. What are the odds? She still lives across the street. Hola. ¿Está Lily? Lily. ¿Liliana? Ah, está aquí. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, this is the house. Hola.
Bien.
Estoy grabando.
Sí, estoy viendo. Ay, tantos años.
Tantos años,
Sí.
yo sé.
¿Dónde está ahora?
En Miami.
En Miami.
Sí.
Sí. ¿Vienes sola?
Sí.
Ay, qué bueno ver. Ay, pase.
Ya había gata.
Ay, una gata. Qué bueno. Sí, pase. Pase adelante. Pase adelante. Teléfono. Pase, es el cuarto.
¿Cuál es? ¿Es este o este? No me acuerdo. Este. This was my old bedroom. I remember doing my homework here. And this was here. It is so surreal to think I lived here so long ago. Tenemos todo. Bueno, gracias.
Qué bueno. Mucho gusto. Gracias a usted por venir a visitar.
Gracias por enseñarme el palco.
Sí, con mucho gusto. Ay, qué lindo, Dios.
I'm so happy that I found them. It was so nice to catch up with them and hear more about her family and see Lily and Huey. So it was just really nice to catch up. I don't think I've seen them probably in like 15 years. So now I'm going to go back to the Airbnb and figure out the next step of my plan. Okay, welcome to day 2 in Costa Rica. We have some big decisions to make today, so maybe you can help me out in the comments. First, let's recap a little bit of what happened yesterday with my journey to try to release these funds. Today we have a few different options, so I'll walk through each of those. They all have pros and cons, different costs associated, and different levels of risk. But before I get to that, let's go through what happened yesterday. So yesterday I went to 3 different banks. I went to Banco Lafice, Banco Nacional, and Banco de Costa Rica. I chose Lafice first because Lafice allows foreigners with passports to open both dollars and colones accounts, and they also offer international wire transfer capabilities. So that's good for me to be able to do those wires online without having to fly back to Costa Rica. And that went well, but I'm just simply waiting 1 to 2 business days to get the final approval to be able to go back and get my debit card and my online banking. The downside is today's Wednesday. The deadline to present myself and the bank is Friday. So if they come back to me today or tomorrow and say that they need more documentation or something like that, this won't work because we won't have time before Friday to get that bank account fully set up and running. So when I left that bank, I decided I'll go to Banco Nacional, which is a national bank. Foreigners can also open accounts there, and I'll have a backup. So I wait in line for hours, but when I got to the bank executive, he said that I needed a lease agreement here in Costa Rica to be able to open the account, and that was not something they told me on the phone, or that's not on the website. So it's an extra document that I didn't know, but I thought might be a possibility. You know, in that case, I would have to then rent a property or rent a room from a friend who lives here and sign an agreement with them to be able to have a fixed address that works for those purposes. So I was feeling a little bit discouraged. I went to lunch, regrouped, and remembered that a long time ago, back in 2016, actually, I had opened an account at BCR, Banco de Costa Rica, because for a brief period, they were offering a promotion where foreigners with passports could open a BCR account online. Now, these accounts had limits of $1,000 per month in movements, but it was a great option if you're retired or you're living in Costa Rica and you just need to be able to receive like $1,000 a month. So being a relocation consultant, I immediately opened an account online with BCR, got my debit card, got my online banking, just wanted to see how the account worked. Since then, that's been discontinued, but I thought, I wonder if that account is still there. I thought it might be easier to reactivate that account than to open a new one. And so I went to BCR before it closed, and yes, after waiting in line again, they were able to reactivate that account with my new passport number. So I had to show them a scan of my old passport that I used to open the account almost 10 years ago and was able to reactivate that. But I need to go back today to get the debit card, get the online banking info, and that account is in dollars. So I would also need to open a colones account to receive the other half of the funds. So apparently they said I could do that today. The upside is it's an account in my name. It's safe. I'm pretty sure it's a government bank. The downside is that because it's like a simplified account, I wouldn't be able to wire the money internationally from my online banking. So it would pretty much require me to come back to Costa Rica, withdraw the money in colones, or exchange it into dollars, or transfer it from my colones to my dollars account, and then come back and withdraw it or transfer it from the branch. So that definitely would require another trip to Costa Rica. Or if my Lefise account is open, I could transfer it to that one locally within the Costa Rican banking system, and then I could wire it to myself in the US. So this is an option. It's not ideal. It's not the best option, but it is an option. Another option would be to wire it to a friend, like a trusted friend, and that's something that I could do. But if at all possible, I would like to avoid having other third-party individuals involved because it just adds a lot of complexity to the situation. Like, more things could go wrong, especially if they're not in the country at the time that the money is sent. And then, I don't know, there just could be too many unknowns that could go wrong in that scenario that I would prefer to keep it all in my personal name. Or the fifth option, which is to send it to an escrow account. So this is actually an idea that I had before leaving Miami. I thought, can we just send it to an escrow agent, as in a real estate transaction where, a buyer sends money to an escrow agent, and escrow agent distributes that money to the seller after the transaction is complete. I thought that would be ideal. I called a few different escrow agents. They had never done something like this in this situation, so it just didn't work out. In advance, I only had a couple of days to figure this out. I really found out about this on Friday, and then Monday had to fly here. So I didn't have much time. Also, at the time, we thought that the Decifin could only send to an individual personal account and not to a corporate or business account. The upside of that is that I could do a power of attorney here with my lawyers, add the escrow agent as the recipient, and then they can wire the money to me. No problem. And, I've had the same lawyer since 2005. I've known their escrow agent since 2005. So I feel like it's a secure option. But the downside is that it is more expensive and that I have to pay legal fees, escrow fees, wire transfer fees, and probably not the best exchange rate converting the colones to dollars. So it kind of chips away at the actual amount that I'll end up receiving at the end of the day. But in exchange for that investment, I get the security of not having to fly back to Costa Rica, giving, a lawyer power of attorney to act on my behalf if anything else is needed. And then the escrow agent is a trusted beneficiary that can then send the money to me. So I'm strongly considering that option, even though it's a bigger cost up front. With the other alternatives, it's highly likely that I'll end up having to fly back to Costa Rica to withdraw the money in some way, which then costs me a plane ticket, a hotel or Airbnb, and also time and energy. Although I am kind of having fun being back, visiting my host family, making this video, I would rather be, helping my relocation clients move abroad, doing other work activities that I like to do, writing, researching, making videos about different topics, coming back to Costa Rica for this particular reason is not the highest and best use of my time. So it's kind of like, anything complex that you need to do. I'm using relocation as an example because that's always top of mind for me. If you want to be a relocation consultant, it makes sense for you to learn how this process works and move yourself to multiple countries over the years to give yourself the training to help other people do it. But it's like if you are moving abroad once and there's no long-term benefit to you learning how to do that process, then it makes more sense to hire that task out to somebody else or get support doing it. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like, what am I optimizing for? I'm optimizing for getting as much of this money back as possible. Do I need to prove to myself that I can do it myself on my own in my individual name in my own bank account? Or can I just pay lawyers, escrow agents to help me and better secure and guarantee that I'm going to get those funds back with the least amount of stress from myself and the least amount of time and energy and travel expenses to come back here. So that's really what I'm thinking about. And when I look at it that way, then it makes the most sense to use the escrow agent. But if things work out with LaFise today and I get the bank information and I can wire it to myself online, then maybe I'll go with that option because it's pretty straightforward. So that's where I'm at. We'll see what happens throughout the course of the day. Until then, I'm just going to stay home in the Airbnb and work for a while, maybe go back to BCR to get my debit card and online banking later today, just in case. So I have that as a backup plan. And then we'll see what happens. I'll check back in later today and then, of course, tomorrow, because Thursday is the last day that I can really decide and get the escrow account and everything set up if I'm going to be using that, because Friday is the deadline. So let me know what you would do if you were in my shoes. Comment below and we'll see what happens next. All right. Day 3 in Costa Rica, and I've made a decision. I decided to go with the escrow agent and my lawyers with the POA because there's so many moving parts to this situation and there's really no room for error. So this is something for me to take really seriously and just get it done correctly. So I am headed to get an Uber right now to go over to the offices of Josephine. It's about 15 minutes away. My lawyer's already there. He has all the documents. I have my passport. So fingers crossed that it goes well. All right, well, hi. This is Alberto, my lawyer. We are just outside the Josephine office, and I guess I would say our original plan was not successful, despite him having come here multiple times to verify and confirm that we could do what we were trying to do. In the end, they told us that if I gave them an account that wasn't in my name, they couldn't guarantee when they could pay me. So the plan is for me to go back to the bank, BCR, today and try to get my account opened. And then we come back today or tomorrow to try to get it all done. But they did give us one exception that I can take more time.
Yeah, 1 or 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, but we don't want to do that. We want to get it done. At this point, I was starting to get frustrated, but I wasn't giving up hope just yet. We're back at BCR. Fingers crossed. We got this. I have good news and bad news. You really can't make this stuff up. The good news is I have a debit card. I have a Costa Rican bank account in US dollars. The bad news is they wouldn't let me open the Colones account. They're asking for a new requirement that was not previously a requirement. So even though the guy who told me yesterday I could do it was sitting right there, I got sent to a different executive who said I have to either own a property in my name or I have to show proof that I own a company in Costa Rica, which I do. So Alberto is creating this document now that is showing that I own a company here. and I have to come back. I have 2 hours before the bank closes. So I think I'm going to actually go to a different branch of BCR and see if I can open an account there while he's doing that document. And if that doesn't work, then I'll just come back here. But I'm also hungry. I need to eat lunch. But okay, the journey continues. This is what it's like if you move to Costa Rica, FYI. Nothing is easy unless you're sitting on the beach drinking a cerveza. Then life is good. I'm in Multiplaza, going to a different branch of the bank because you never know. You just go to different branches until you get a yes. Eventually, you'll get a yes. You can't give up after the first try. You guys, we did it. I have 2 accounts, dollars and colones. I'm feeling emotional. I don't know. I almost started crying in the bank branch, just like out of frustration. I don't think that anyone else could have done this as far as like the situation that I'm in. The only reason I have this account right now is because I had opened this account in 2016 and was able to reactivate it. And then I didn't take no for an answer. When other bank branches and executives said I needed other documents, I just went to a different branch. It's not like some countries where the rules are the rules and you ask for a list of requirements and that's how it is everywhere. No, it varies person to person, day to day, branch to branch. And if there's anything I've learned in 25 years of traveling and living abroad, it's that you've just got to be flexible. I'm going to call Alberto and go back over there. All right, I'm in a taxi going across the street from Multiplaza. It is 3:35 and the Decipine offices close at 4. But Alberto and I are going to try to make it now and get in there before 4 p.m. with my bank documents. And then if I feel like I need to open another account, I'll do it tomorrow. But we just want to get this in at the last hour. And fingers crossed that it all works out. This is such an absurd situation. It really is. But yeah, just staying calm and problem solving instead of reacting with emotion. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Fun day? Are you having fun?
Yeah, it's been quite busy.
Never a dull moment. I brought a drink this time. It was very surreal walking in the doors of this institution that's been around since 1991 and is no more. Drumroll, please. We did it.
Thanks.
How do we feel?
Great. I mean, it's finished business. Took a long time.
Yeah, literally at the last hour. Like, it's probably 4:30 now.
Yeah.
It closed at 4 and we were like the last people in there. They accepted my bank information. The first deposit lands August 18th and the second one on August 21st. So now we wait. I feel exhausted. I feel physically and emotionally drained, but I also feel relieved that it's over. I mean, at least this part is over. And we accomplished the goal.
Yeah.
It only took 4 days.
Yeah. Fast.
Tico time. All right. Bye for now. All right. I'm in the Safira offices doing a POA with Alberto so that he can pick up my debit card at BCR and send a transfer if I need to the US. And make sure to subscribe to see what happens next. When I get the money, I'll leave the other videos here in case you missed them. And thank you all so much for your comments of support.